This is going to be my reaction video to the Ravens' 13-3 win over the Panthers at home in Week 11. Pushes the Ravens' record to 7-3. I tweeted out as soon as the game was over that I was, win is a win, so you have to accept that. You have to be glad about it, but it damn sure wasn't fun. I guess it'll be fun to watch the defense after the game when the All-22 comes out and appreciate what we appreciated it live. Of course, they were dominant. Incredibly dominant. I'm going to give you two key points to show you how dominant they were a little bit later in this reaction video, but it wasn't fun, even while watching the defense be so, one-sided in terms of our matchup against the offense, because as a longtime Ravens fan, you have this maybe a little bit of a sense of foreboding, like one play, one busted pass coverage, or one DB that falls down or something like that is going to wash out 40, 45, 50 minutes of dominance, and next thing you know, a 6-3 lead is a 10-6 deficit. I have no idea why the offense had so much trouble blocking this team, for real. They did look faster defensively. The Panthers, I thought, looked faster in person. Well, I didn't watch it in person, but I mean, compared to our team, we were losing blocks at the point of attack often. I thought that Derek Brown gave us trouble. I can't identify, who he gave trouble to necessarily, but he's a physical guy that makes plays. And I'll go over two possessions here in a moment in detail, but if you've watched my reaction videos for a while, for the better part of a year, I generally pick two possessions to go over. During the game, my thought was like, which two possessions am I going to pick? There's none that are fun. There's none that were really fun to watch. There's none that really are worthy of, evaluation or analysis. But nonetheless, I'll have two possessions. It'll be our fifth possession and our eighth possession. I won't go over the touchdown, when we basically were handed the football by Marcus Peters. Unbelievable. Peters and Humphrey give us two turnovers today. It felt like 2019 watching that defense on some level. Except we're a little bit more sound, I think. Now we're a different thing. We had two injuries today that could turn. I mean, it could be season altering for real. Apparently, Ronnie Stanley has indicated to Lamar Jackson that he's okay. But we'll get word. Ronnie Stanley and Kyle Hamilton being out from the offense and defense, that caps our ceiling. It lowers our ceiling. Let me rephrase that if you ask me. So what I usually do in our reaction videos is go over first half notes, so I'll do that now. And I'll refer to a couple of possessions here in a moment. Look, our first possession was kind of promising early. We hit Andrews for 12 on the first play. Then the unbelievable pass that Lamar threw to Ricard up the left sideline. He's supposed to just go out in the flats, and then I think he turns it into a wheel once he recognizes that the ball hasn't been thrown. Great throw by Lamar, dropped, and then I think there was a penalty anyway, but I could be wrong. In any case, the third play is a great throw to Robinson on a slant for 23, and we are rolling. 3 plays in, we're past midfield at the 45. What is the dynamic that happens in our play calling where we have these possessions like this one? 5 passes, guys. First possession. Yeah, 2 of the first 3 was productive. Don't get me wrong. We reached the 45. It was exciting. But then the next 3 plays are passes and we do nothing. Incomplete to Andrews with one hand. I think that should be a drop for real. It's in his hand. I don't think the throw was. If the throw is off by Lamar. And I thought Lamar just was ripping passes today. Like 90-95% of his throws I thought was like timely, accurate, in right where the receivers could catch it. This one, maybe it's off by a foot. Then we get a short pass to Drake. And then the 3rd and 8, it looked like to me Prochet was settling down. And Lamar thought he was going to break out a little more. Prochet has to dive, and I've seen him make that catch multiple times, but he just did not in this case. So our first possession ends up in a punt that goes into the end zone. I didn't think Stout punted as well today as we have seen him. Panthers got a pair of first downs on their first possession. DJ Moore with a big catch on the opening play. Then Foreman with a 10-yard run on a 2nd and 11. At that moment, I was like, oh, wow, they're able to push us a little bit, and then we just dominate. We just shut the run down. A great play by Hamilton on a flare screen to Chenault, and Humphrey was there also. I think Humphrey actually picked up the tackle. They did pick up the first down. Then on the 3rd and 5, Queen gets a sack on a nice blitz towards the side of the running back. Really smart design, if you ask me. He's blitzing to the side of the running back, which is the side where Houston is. So it forces the running back to pick him up. What can the running back not do? He cannot help the right tackle, so Houston gets a one-on-one. That's not how he got the sack, okay? But it opens up a one-on-one. We run into the punter, 2 guys. Really horrible technique by Stevens, if you ask me. I mean, he just ran into the punter. No attempt to block it, no dive, not crossing his arms at all. Offense looked bad on the second possession. The initial run with Ricard in motion and Andrews in the backfield as the fullback. Maybe it was a read. I'm not sure. Either way, got 2 yards. Then there was a 2nd and 8. It was bunch right with Andrews and Ricard out there with Duve. We're set up for the screen. And for whatever reason, we don't throw it. We give it to Drake. And Drake gets a loss on the play to set up a 3rd and 12. Justice Hill makes a great catch on a screen where the rookie D-end, who is an athlete, Andre Barno, I think he's from Virginia Tech. He is an athletic dude where he's all over Justice Hill. Thankfully, it's not intercepted or anything like that. Just a bad possession. We got nothing established. Panthers didn't get anything established either, 3 and out on their second possession. We go QB read on our third possession, and they force a give read, but simultaneous to that, they have a player scraping over the top for Justice Hill. It was like a 3rd and 2, I believe. Some people in our Discord incorrectly said, hey, Justice Hill's got to make some yards there. Ricard missed his block. I don't think we blocked well, for real. I really don't. I don't think we blocked well today. Anyone across the board. Maybe some of the O-linemen did. I thought the face mask on Moses was a horrible call late, preceding the injury to Stanley, obviously. On our 4th possession, we throw a pick. And this is where I kind of blame our coaches a little bit. We were going hurry up on our 4th possession. If you remember, we get down to the 30 or the 35. Let me check my numbers and see exactly. We're going hurry up. I thought 3 plays in a row. And then all of a sudden, we sub out personnel and we throw a pick 2 plays later. Yeah, we had gone hurry up, I think 3 plays in a row. And then 2 plays in a row. Complete to Robinson and then option keep for 7. Or for 4 or 5, sorry. And then we sub and we throw an interception. I'm not saying that that's the reason why. I just wonder if those things are related a little bit in terms of the pace, and I know a lot of people have mentioned that before. Our 5th possession. Let me pull this up. Our 5th possession, we finally go down and get a field goal to end the half. Long drive, as you can see. There's all the data there. Hopefully you guys can see it well. Robinson complete, I think, 3 passes on this drive. The double pump was amazing. The 5th one from the bottom. The 1st and 10 from the 45, out of empty, double pump to Robinson, slant. He was almost gone. He was almost gone. He had a catch on a snag concept on the first play of the drive for 6. He had another catch for, I don't know the yardage. I missed it because we were kind of going hurry up there too. So maybe some of the things we were doing hurry up needs to be done a little more often when we're struggling. I get it. If you're clamoring for that, I get it because there was some evidence that worked today. A lot of 12 personnel on this drive, you can see. So we were in flex, which is 2x2 spread, and trips, which is, a spread formation as well. But it was generally out of 12 personnel. That double pump to Robinson on the double slant was awesome. Again, I thought Lamar was ripping passes today. He looked good. Maybe we should have thrown the football more. A lot of us in the Discord were concerned on the 3rd and 10, why are we going for this? What's the payoff? Let's see, because it's from the 15-yard line, right? I believe. Yeah, 3rd and 10 from the 15. Let's say we complete the pass down to the 3. I think it was 10 seconds left there. I might be wrong, guys. I'm not sure on that strategy there. 3rd and 10 from the 15, 10 seconds left. If I'm corrected, it was 10 seconds left. You let me know what you think, but I thought that was possibly a tactical or strategical error. It didn't end up, hurting us because we got the field goal to go up 3-0 at the half. Really inconsistent half. I thought Lamar was 14 of 19 at the half. And like I said, just ripping passes all over the place. There was 2 drops. The one by Prochet, the one by Ricard up the left sideline, which I thought got called back for another penalty, but I might be wrong. And then the interception, which I think was a zone-dropping D-tackle. So I don't really... when there's a zone-dropping D-tackle, it's so unexpected sometimes, especially if it's a team that doesn't do it a lot. It's kind of tough to blame the quarterback if he's reading something at the second level and a D tackle drops out. But I might be wrong. It might not have been a zone dropping D tackle. It looked like it to me. Looked like he backed off to like 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and just mirrored Lamar's vision. But I haven't seen. I know there was a replay, but it was kind of zoomed in. To me, it looked like Likely was open on the drag underneath. We take a 3-0 lead into halftime. Defense playing awesome. Panthers had reached midfield twice, but the defense had stepped up. To me, Hamilton, Smith, and Queen were just balling at the second level. Disruptive. Smith and Queen just meeting everything at the line that was a run concept in the right place, fitting things up properly. Those three, I'm going to do a basketball comparison, and even if you've played a lot of basketball, some of you will get it and some of you won't. If you ever play point guard and a team that's got a lot of length plays like a 1-3-1 full court press, or even a half court 1-3-1, it's horrible to deal with. Like basically you got to figure out a way, let me get rid of the ball here, and then hopefully the other guys are in position, because there's no options for me to throw the ball in basketball. Again, it's my reference. There's no options for me to throw the ball through any passing lanes. The 3, which is the second level, and the 1-3-1, they have such length, if by design, if you play it well, put the right personnel there, that it prohibits passing lanes other than horizontal ones. And to me, the Ravens with Hamilton, Smith, and Queen, they resemble that. Now they don't have the length other than Hamilton, but the speed, the range, the recognition, and the tackling. Look, Hamilton and Queen have been criticized for their tackling before, but lately, nah. Lately they've been on point, especially Hamilton. Panthers' run game was inconsistent in the first half, but they got the ball first. They've been relying on the run game. They were real conservative in the first half. And the Ravens, I guess, were as well. But I think the Ravens was more so inconsistency. Burns got pressure one time against Stanley, beat him clean. To me, the Panthers was playing a lot of zone. They seemed to be content keeping everything in front and generally forcing a keep read by Lamar on our option plays, meaning the DN was stepping down. And look, I was surprised. I don't know about you. I thought Mark Sanchez did a pretty good job as the color commentary guy. Let me rephrase that. I was not expecting much. I was not. I don't know anything about Mark Sanchez. I just wasn't expecting much. I was pleasantly surprised with certain things. He had a couple of funny quips as well. I can't remember exactly what he said. Panthers' first possession of the third quarter was the Tyus Bowser possession. He's in the quarterback's face on a bootleg to force a short pass, like maybe a 5 or 6 yard gain. Then he has a great play on the edge against the tight end, and Foreman bounces it, and then Bowser makes the tackle, I think for a 1 yard loss, and then shows his versatility by covering the tight end out in the flats to the boundary on the 3rd and 6. He was in great position. I really don't even know why Mayfield threw that ball. From the view that they showed us from behind, there's like no angle to throw it there. 3 plays in a row, I think, are worthy of a film study because it shows you what Tyus Bowser is capable of doing in all 3 situations. So then our first possession of the third quarter, and this is where I start to get pissed off, and I may in this video as well. We've had halftime. Our 6th possession of the game, I believe it's our 6th, and we look terrible. I thought we looked terrible. We tried. It ended with us going quads left, 4 receivers to the left. Nobody was open, I don't think. Well, let me rephrase that. Duve was open late up the left sideline. It was like a cover 2 to the left-hand side. I'm not blaming Lamar for not throwing the ball there. At that point in the progression, he had already been moved off his spot. I think in the pocket there was a little pressure. If I remember correct, it was from the right side, but I might be wrong. He had already stepped up a little bit, so he's approaching the line of scrimmage trying to figure out, okay, where can I get this football off? Let me see what the down and distance was on our 6th possession. It was a 3rd. It was like from our 15 or something like that, our own 15-yard line. 3rd and 8 from the -8, excuse me. So he's approaching and he's approaching the line of scrimmage, and Duve is breaking open up the left sideline against that cover 2. And Lamar's just not able to see him. Probably wouldn't have even been able to get the ball to him, but he's definitely open. Other than that, no one was open, and we get sacked. I think it was Jace or J.C. Horn, however you say his first name, with the sack. Really disappointing to me. Our first possession of the third quarter, we get nothing going. Punt, and the Panthers get the ball near the 50. They get a big completion to Marshall up the right side against Peters. which I thought at that point I was like, okay, they're now in field goal range. Then there's a defensive pass interference on Clark guarding the tight end. He was very physical on that play. I don't really have a problem with that call. I I do think that like there is a certain point in time where they're removing too much physicality from it. It's going to be easy to pile on to Clark with the face mask and this defensive pass interference. I understand that. However, this specific play, I don't know. I guess, are they calling it because it's past 5 yards? I would think that would just be holding. Or are they saying he interfered while the ball was in the air? I'm not sure. I did see the one replay. It didn't look really horrible to me. Did it look like they should call a pass interference? Yeah, I guess. But I wouldn't want to see anything slightly less physical be called outside of that 5 yard area. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. JPP had a tackle on stretch concept to his side, and then Brandon Stevens defended well. He fought when he was in there. It's like as soon as Stevens comes in, they stop targeting Marcus Peters, and they target Brandon Stevens. It's like a ping-pong effect. And then Houston got some pressure on a third down, and Queen tackled Mayfield on the scramble to force a field goal, keep it 3-3. At that point, my notes said the Panthers and the Ravens defense are both being more physical than the other team's offenses. And at this point, I even made some notes saying, look, this will be a season-changing defeat for us. 6-4 with a home loss to the Panthers would have been pretty terrible, if you ask me. We get down there on the next possession, I believe our 7th. Check my notes. I believe our next possession, our 7th. We get down there, and this is the ridiculous face mask call, on Moses. I thought that was horrible. We had a 2nd and 10. And I'm not showing you this possession breakdown. I'm just talking about it. So, forgive me. We had a draw twice on that possession. We had a draw on the first play to Hill for 11. We hit Robinson for 20. Lamar's throwing the ball well. We hit Andrews late on a 2nd and 7 for 14. On 3rd and 6 for 14. The screen to Drake was set up. Great call. 1st and 10 from the 25. We tried to run a screen a couple of possessions later. So there's something in the Panthers defense that we as coaches, our coaches have identified where the screen would have been good from that area of the field. Because we tried it again right around the 20 or 25. In any case, it fell incomplete. The draw to Hill went for 6, setting up a 3rd and 4. Lamar, great job finding Justice Hill out of empty on the left sideline. I didn't think that face mask on Moses was a really obvious call. You guys let me know what you think. I thought that it was very questionable. Let's put it that way. I didn't think it was an obvious call. It would have been a first down, giving us a chance to break that 3-3 tie. Then on the 3rd and 19, the ensuing 3rd and 19, Burns is just unblocked off the right side. I mean, Moses has a blitzer walking up to the B gap. It looked like it was empty, by the way, so we only have 5 guys to block, right? The center, 2 guards, and 2 tackles. So in terms of protection, I don't know if they brought 6. I don't know what the other side looked like, but they outnumbered us because the guard was busy too. I think the guard had to D-tackle. Moses took the blitzing B-gap guy, and Burns was free off the right side, and that's how Stanley gets hurt. Really unfortunate. Pisses me off to think about the fact that we're going empty in those situations so consistently. I mean, it's 3rd and 19. But in any case, we have to punt after reaching their 25 and having a 1st and 10. That was embarrassing. They should be embarrassed. I mean, for real. The offensive staff, players should be, all of them, should be, Harbaugh, they should be embarrassed. Like, we had situations, multiple, I think 3, where we're down around the 40 or so. And I know field goals would have been a pain today. The announcing staff, the announcers kept mentioning, and people on Twitter who were there kept saying how windy it was. So I understand there's a real issue. But, we're around the 40. We have Justin Tucker. It's 3-3. There is the opportunity to get a field goal there, or in other situations too. All right, a great play by Seymour on the punt. Thankfully, Harbaugh threw the flag to review it. And amazing break for us. Changed it to, the ball being down at the 5 instead of the 20. And then they get 2 first downs. Kind of foreboding sense for me anyway. They get to the 44 where they have a 2nd and 9. They try to throw a screen. We had like 3 guys there. Get a false start. And then a short pass on 3rd and 14. Damn near turns into a first down. Blackshear, I think, the running back, ends up getting 11 yards. I thought they might think about going for it, for real. I did. I thought that the Panthers might think about going for it on that 4th and 3. from the 49. As it was, Duve fair catches it, sets up our 8th possession. Let's get to that, because I know you guys probably get tired of me annotating what's going on here. All right, so 3-3 tie. The punt was fair caught by Duve at the 14. We get Drake for 5 to end the third quarter. I mean, it's 3-3 at the end of the third quarter. There'd be nothing wrong with us being, right now, as fans, being pissed off about that. The Panthers are not a good team. They're not. But it was a weird day across the NFL. A really weird day. The Lions went in there and spanked the Giants. Just spanked them. Multiple teams were in battles that you didn't. Well, the Bills and Browns situation being so unique with the snowstorm in Buffalo and the Bills getting there late to play that game in Detroit, that kind of doesn't surprise me that the game was a little unusual. A unique play out of twin wing on the second play of this 8th possession. To me, it looked like a wide zone, like a sweep play. I just call wide zone sweep. Like, people come up with new names for plays all the time, and wide zone is now wide zone. It was just sweep when I was growing up. Anyway, 2nd and 5, wide zone to Drake for 4. And then this was unique. This was a new play on 3rd and 1. We go twin slot, Duve motions right to left, and normally it's QB power read. We're either giving it to Duve or Lamar's keeping it, running the power to the left because the motion's right to left. This time he keeps it, goes backside to Robinson. An amazing catch by Robinson. And another example, I can't wait to do a film study and see the film on Lamar. Lamar's throw to me is like right at chest level, hanging, not out of bounds, far out of bounds, but to me it's like right there on the out of bounds line for Robinson to catch. Amazing. Then we get the run game going a little bit. Drake up the middle for 9 on the ensuing 1st and 10. Ricard got the first down. Andrews for 7, where the play apparently wasn't reviewable, and it looked like he would have had the first down. A big draw. I mean, this was a great drive. I thought it was a great drive. And then we go draw again to Hill. He fights for a couple of yards on a 1st and 10 at a bunch. Then the high snap. We're good to just get that play off and have it be a 0 yard gain. I don't remember what the penalty was on 3rd and 8. You guys are going to have to remind me. But here we are again, 2nd and 8 on the 23, and we settle for a field goal. We have a guy in Robinson who's kicking ass. I don't know why we can't figure out a way. He's not just the backside X in trips. You know what I'm saying, guys? We can have Robinson deployed on the same side as Andrews or the same side as Prochet or the same side as Duve, whatever. Put him in a read progression where we can run some routes to not just. My point is, like, 2nd and 8 down there. We don't just have to depend on the fact, they're playing soft coverage, and we can throw the speed out to Robinson, which he caught 3 or 4 times today. That's not always going to be there. When a team locks up and press man, it's not there. So in my opinion, there need to be times where we put a guy like Robinson in the read progression where he's not just a solo receiver backside, and we're just throwing a speed out or a slant to him depending on the leverage of the corner. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. If you want to point to that as a example of our pass game, being limited, then go right ahead. Because today we had a guy who was he wasn't hitting home runs, but Robinson was hitting doubles. He was hitting doubles, and I feel like we should have got him some more at-bats when we're down there near the 25 or so. Hopefully that comparison makes sense. Think of it like a guy who's hitting a bunch of mid-range 18-footers. Let's scheme up some plays to get him those looks when we need a touchdown. He's great on these screens, though, man. This last play, 3rd and 13 from the 28, this was clutch on a windy day. That's, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter or not, but Jeff, I can't say his name, Zrebeck, hopefully I said that right. He was tweeting out that pregame, Tucker hit the crossbar from 50. Tucker's hit from 66 in a dome before. That'll tell you about the wind. And then he hit the he hit the goalpost on the side a couple of times, apparently in warmups. So everybody was having a rough day kicking. So this screen down here to Robinson for 9, this was huge. Got the ball from the 28 to the 19, gave him a higher percentage look, in my opinion, put us up 6-3. That was big. Even though it sucked to not get the touchdown, for real. I don't know about you, but I was frustrated at that point, for us to not get the touchdown. And then the defense just locks up. If you've been a fan for a long time, there's situations where we've been in a lead late, even this year, obviously blowing leads, but I'm talking about games where we're controlling. Specifically games against like the Andy Dalton Bengals or the Steelers under Big Ben. Games where we're controlling and they just go 11 personnel and take over. Nope. We got Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters forces the fumble. Amazing play. He has this awareness of field position and game situation. You know, that ball was snapped from the 25. So the very next Panthers possession, right, their 8th possession, we're ahead 6-3. 8.5 minutes left in the game, maybe 8 minutes left as this ball is snapped. To me, Marcus Peters is so aware he wouldn't try to strip like that if it was around midfield. Because if it's around midfield and he tries to strip, the guy breaks the tackle, he might gain another 10 or 12 and then get them in the field goal range. I think Marcus Peters is a guy who plays a certain way, not just depending on personnel that's on the field for the offense, not just depending on down and distance, but depending on field position. He understands when he can. There is, to me, extra levels of awareness that Marcus Peters has that like certain guys are aware. Then there's the guys who are super aware. Then you have the next level, like your Marlon Humphreys. I think Marcus Peters might even be a level beyond that in terms of his awareness level and when he, quote, takes chances. So, huge moment. With our offense struggling, we take over on the 31, and Drake damn near busts the first play, 28-yard gain. Amazing. And you knew once it was 1st and goal from the 3, we were going to go option. I need to do a video on this showing it in the last 4 weeks when we're down there and we go lion or ram, it's option. Like that's our goal line play down there, and we're spread out, meaning we have receivers spread out. We're in 21 personnel. I don't have the possession breakdown to show you guys in terms of a pick like I do the other ones, but we were in 21 personnel, all 3 plays on that drive that puts us up 13-3. Lamar keeps it, gets the touchdown to the right, puts us up 13-3. The game's over. I mean, the game is really over at that point, but defense just kept balling. Panthers, for some reason, run the ball on the first play of their 9th possession, 7.5 minutes left, down 13-3, and we stop them for 2. And then Campbell with a sack. I thought he hurt Baker Mayfield. Creates a 3rd and 17. Queen with the most clean, sure tackle on the 3rd and 17. Holds him to a 10-yard gain. And then JPP with a sack. But it's even more than that. Humphrey was on a blitz off the edge. He's the guy that really forced Mayfield to step up. And JPP, I think JPP actually believed that Humphrey finished the play and he kind of ran into a sack. I'm not saying it was a fluke because JPP was playing hard today. I didn't see as many clean wins by JPP off the edge for real. And then even on this possession, this 10th possession, up 13-3 after we stop him on 4th down, things didn't look clean today offensively. Nothing looked easy. We got the sack when the ball's on the 32. We're up 10. Probably 4.5 left is my guess. 3rd and 7 from the 32. Run the ball. Like, I just think we should be running the ball. Create a 3rd and 3. Maybe we get it. Maybe we kick a field goal from the 29 if we want to. I understand that people will be concerned about, a blocked kick or something like that. I don't know. To me, we seemed really off and inconsistent today offensively. It didn't matter. The next possession, Humphrey finishes with an interception. And, if the game wasn't over prior to that, as the Panthers take possession with 4.5 minutes left, down 10, theoretically a touchdown and then an onside kick, right? But at that point, after Humphrey intercepts it, which is a great play, it's zone. He lets the receiver go in. Some people call it a whip route, China out, whatever. He lets the receiver go in, doesn't give up his leverage, jumps it. Horrible throw by Mayfield, I thought. Really bad throw. I've got some notes on individual players for the game. I know this reaction video is a little different. A couple of notes on Marcus Peters. He's played 34 games with the Ravens, if I count it right, and he's forced 14 turnovers in his Ravens career. I'm not talking about prior to the Ravens with the Rams and the Chiefs. So to me, 14 out of 35 would be 40%. So he forces a turnover in 40% of the games he plays in for the Ravens. That's unique. That's rare. To me, that's 2 turnovers every 5 games he plays with us, if I did my math right. If not, then let me know. Let's do it another way. This season in 9 games, I think he's forced 4 turnovers, right? He has an interception. Well, he's been involved in 4 turnovers. Against the Patriots, his second game back, in week 3, he had an interception, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Now he's got a forced fumble in this game, which I think, who recovered the fumble? Was it Marlon, I believe? But in any case, amazing to see him get another one today on what was a seemingly innocuous short completion to the right side in the fourth quarter. What can you say about Marlon Humphrey? He's just one of the best in the league at everything. Like, if he only played outside corner, he's a Pro Bowler. If he only played slot corner, he's a Pro Bowler. If he was let's say that he was on the Rams with Jalen Ramsey, who do you put at nickel? Who do you put as the slot corner in their 4-2-5 look or their 5-1 nickel? Ramsey, Humphrey, I don't know. Whoever the hell you put there they're going to be equally effective. Game-sealing interception, nearly had a sack today. I thought he recovered the fumble that Peters forced, but I could be wrong. And a point about DJ Moore, who's a good player, and I really like him. So if you're a Panthers fan, you're probably not listening at this point, but if you are, like, this is not to be disrespectful, but like, what happened to DJ Moore? I suspect that Marlon Humphrey moving over to the slot in certain situations, especially after Kyle Hamilton went out, when we brought Brandon Stevens in, might be the answer to what happened to DJ Moore today. I'm not sure, though. I don't know. I know Moore is talented, but he did nothing today after starting the game with like a 12-yard catch on a first down. That's all I know. Kyle Hamilton playing at an amazing level. Great tackles, stood up on the edge on those screens to Chenault, who's a talented guy, man. Looking back at it when Chenault was available, because I think he was in Jacksonville initially. Now he's in Carolina, man. Some of those guys like him with his size and his speed. I know he didn't do much today, but he's always been an intriguing prospect to me, even seeing him in college. Hamilton dominated the slot receivers assigned to block him on those plays. Those plays were shut down. Hopefully he's not hurt too much because he was just really, really playing at a high level on the second level of the Ravens defense. Him, Queen, and Smith, I think, combined for 23 tackles and 3 tackles for loss today. They were everywhere. This Ravens defense is so good, though, that like once Hamilton goes out, we just slide Humphrey down into the slot or nickel corner, bring in Brandon Stevens, who competes. Look, Stevens is going to give up catches. He is, especially against certain high-level guys. But he competes. He fights. I like him. I hate those tired-ass conversations. Is he a number 2 corner? Is he a number 3 corner? I hate it. It's just dumb. It's pointless. I'm beyond that. Those designations don't matter. He competes. He'll play for us if we need him to. But he's not a starter if everybody's healthy. If Marcus Williams healthy, Kyle Hamilton's healthy, Brandon Stevens not going to be a starter. He's a guy who we can bring in, though. In my opinion, he played that punt awful and running into the kicker. Showed no technique at all trying to block it. You either are diving to try to block it and crossing your arms. You cross your arms so the ball never goes through it. He's like wildly arms up in the air running into the kicker. Really weird. JPP had a sack, an interception, 2 other tackles for loss. I didn't think JPP had a ton of clear wins on his pass rushes. Don't get me wrong. But twice I thought his length and awareness, he was able to jump up in passing lanes and force Mayfield off his initial read. Actually, on the interception that Broderick Washington tipped or knocked down, I thought Mayfield's initial read, JPP got in the way of by jumping up in the air and put his arm up. I mean, he's 6'5". And I thought he's the one who forced Mayfield to then take his read progression to the inside, throw it, and Broderick Washington knocks it down. Bowser had that one possession where he dominated, and then I thought they stopped running to his side. He only had 3 tackles, so I don't know what the snap count was. Queen, amazing, 12 tackles, really precise and sharp. Look, we dominated this Panthers offense. This is going to be my last point. They had 205 yards on 54 plays. So that's 3.8 yards per play for the entire game. That's really bad in the NFL, all right? That's one-sided. But let's take a look at it, all right? And look, a lot of those 205 yards, they had the 35-yard pass to Terrence Marshall Jr., I believe, on the last possession. I believe. So you could be talking about 180 yards for the game if we don't give up a meaningless, long catch. But let's put it in a little bit more context. In the previous 4 games, the Panthers' run game had generated 638 yards. Feel free to double check me, okay? I added this up twice to make sure I did it right. Previous 4 games, I'm talking about after they traded away Christian McCaffrey. Twice against the Falcons, the road loss to the Bengals where the run game got shut down, and then the 21-3 win over the Bucs at home. They had generated 638 yards in those 4 games coming into Baltimore today. How many did they get today? 36 yards on 17 carries. That's completely dominant. Panthers were 3 of 12 on third downs. Amazing performance. Now, having said all that, we cannot play this ragged on offense next week. and expect to win against the Jags. I know they're only like 3-7, but their front 6 or 7 is talented, man. They're similarly fast like the Panthers. They got 2 really tough inside linebackers in Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun. Foye Oluokun is one of my favorite players in terms of being underrated in the NFL. Those two guys are tough, very aware. They can play the pass. Our Ravens defense is something different without Hamilton, for real, if we've got to slide Marlon down into the slot. And we're a different thing if Ronnie Stanley is out. We're going to need more stuff like we got today from Demarcus Robinson, Mark Andrews, Lamar, who was really sharp, I thought, and I haven't really said much about it. I know he didn't have any touchdown passes. I know the stats aren't really going to look great, and there's a lot of people out there that are stats guys, so they're going to say whatever they want about Lamar. I thought he threw the ball really, really well today. I thought he was really sharp. I thought he had 2 misreads on the option. The one really poor one was maybe 9th possession, and I kind of referred to it earlier. Let me scroll back. No, 11th possession. We're up 13-3, so it's late in the game. And it's a 3rd and 7, and we go empty. Duve goes in motion from right to left. Horrible read by Lamar. Burns is stepping down. That should be a give. To me, it looks like Duve has got the edge if we give it to him. Anyway, look, the loss of Stanley would be huge for a while. Loss of Hamilton would be huge for a while. Don't mean to finish the video on a somber note, because those guys played extremely well, today. Lamar would have to carry us and do even more, which sounds insane based on how much he does already, right? Robinson and Andrews and Likely would really become necessary focal points of the offense. And I know that we would possibly get Gus back. It sucks to still be dealing with some of these injuries that are related to 2021. Of course, Ronnie with the ankle, Gus, JK, some of those guys. We still are in a good situation being 7-3. I still feel really good about this team. I don't know about you. I'm sure at this point people have been making comments, so either positive, negative, or kind of in between. I feel more positive than negative about the team. We have had situations where the defense didn't play well, but the offense did. Today was a situation where the defense played unbelievable, and the offense was extremely inconsistent. And if you ask me, did not take advantage of situations that were there. It was there to attack with Demarcus Robinson. It was there to attack with Mark Andrews, and to a lesser extent Isaiah Likely, even though we didn't get him the ball. Appreciate you guys checking the video out. Let me know what type of film study videos you think you would like to see this week. It's an unusual week being Thanksgiving week. I'm probably going to do a reaction video for one of the Thanksgiving Day games, maybe the Cowboys and Giants, because I'm kind of familiar with the Giants team based on our game that we played against them. And I'm more interested in the Giants-Cowboys game anyway, as opposed to the Bills staying in Detroit to play the Lions. So let me know what you think of the video, what you think of some of my thoughts, how the Ravens played today, how you think our ceiling is impacted, depending on the length of time that Ronnie Stanley and Kyle Hamilton might be out. Appreciate you guys' time.